Welcome to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple, to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So, stay with us as right now we present. Hello, everybody. I'm glad you're here. We've got a heck of a show for you, and we've got a young lady by the name of McGraff, and she is a singer-songwriter, and it sounds like this.
You can shout at your demons. You can face your addictions. You can say you believe in all the prophets' predictions. Build a whole reputation on the good things you've done. But it won't stand for nothing if you don't do it with love. Go through the motions. You can dive in head first. You can drink up the ocean, but it won't quench your thirst. Be some king on a mountain, looking down from above, but it won't stand for nothing if you don't do it with love.
And that is McGraff, and the name of the song is With Love. And I want to thank you for making that song. As a matter of fact, Michael Stover, who is a music producer and publisher of note, he sent me that song and your bio, and I knew the moment I heard the song, I had to have you on.
Oh, Kevin, thank you so much. Thank you. It's a real joy and blessing to be here today, talking positive. We're going to talk positive things. Yes.
Well, and I got to tell you, With Love is now. There's another band that you may have heard of that had a song that went worldwide at one point. It was called "All You Need Is Love."
Yeah.
And that is. They were, of course, the Beatles, and that was I grew up in those days, and I am fascinated with people who can do what you can do and are putting out a positive message all at the same time.
Well, thank you for that, Kevin, because my husband Tommy and I, we started writing positive, inspirational music when, it wasn't cool to do so. And, it was a small, narrow road that we've been on traveling, but we haven't given up. And, so we're really excited and just grateful for all the wonderful things that are happening right now with our album, with our music, the people we're meeting, the artists, the songwriters, people like Michael Stover, who you mentioned, who's just jumped on board and helping us get our song and message out there.
Well, you've done well with it. You've done well with it. Now, you're a singer-songwriter. Are you also a musician? Did you play some of the instruments on it?
I left really the guitar playing to Tommy, my husband, on there, and Kevin Fisher from LA, from California. And Kevin and Tommy did most of all the instrumentals on there and most of the backgrounds. I think I played a little bit of a keyboard, maybe a guitar thing here or there, but not, I did the vocals, the lead vocals and background vocals. So.
You know who you sound like to me? Are you familiar with Leanne Grimes or Rhymes?
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Yes.
She did a
Yes.
song called "Let's Dance,"
Yeah. Yes.
and that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah.
So maybe you can cover that for her. That would be
Wow. Thank you for that. Wow. That's awesome.
And so now, how did you get started with? Did the husband come first, or did the musical career come first?
The musical career. I'm a small town girl from Ontario, Canada, living up here on Lake Erie, and about an hour and a half from Toronto. And so I grew up listening to like Linda Ronstadt, Stevie Nicks, Anne Murray. When I was about 18, 19, I went into the Canadian Open Country Singing Contest and ended up winning the female open category. And from that, I received some free recording time at a studio in Niagara Falls. I won some money and I went and bought myself a guitar and taught myself 3 chords.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. And some truth, right?
Yep.
And I wrote a song. And so went into the studio, recorded this song, and it was just all very serendipitous. I'm just like, oh, yay. And next thing I know, I'm getting airplay on Canadian radio. And I get a call from CBC TV to go down to Toronto and be on a TV show with Johnny Cash and June Carter.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. And it was crazy. And I got there and so Johnny and June were the most beautiful, most humble people you'd ever want to meet. And we did the rehearsal for the show in the morning, and then we all got to take a break and come back and do the show in front of a studio audience. And during the break, Johnny says, would you like to come in and meet June? And he took me into her dressing room, and she was sitting there with little slippers on, curlers in her hair, and he introduced me to her, and it was just amazing. And I never forgot that. They were just wonderful, wonderful people.
Isn't it amazing how that you can just go from a small town girl in by Lake Erie, and then all of a sudden you're talking to the man in black.
Oh yeah.
And now, how long ago was this? Was this before, when he was still performing and doing really well, or was this later on?
This was during their comeback. This is many years ago. So they were just on their way coming back, and it led to a lot of other things, like a lot of doors opening for me. It was about, I think, 10 years later that maybe I moved to Nashville. And in that period of time, I met and worked with people like Randy Bachman from Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Hey, I'm a big fan.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, and he's got ties to Seattle, I know.
Yeah.
And so I went out to Vancouver and did a lot of work with Randy and people like Dan Hill, sometimes when we touch and that.
Yeah.
Yes. And Eddie Schwartz, who wrote Hit Me With Your Best Shot for, Pat Benatar. So I was really blessed. Doors just opened, and it was all just wonderful. My dad was managing me at the time, and it was really cool. And then I started taking some trips to Nashville and fell in love with Nashville and moved down there. And 1999, I moved there and met Tommy. That's when I met Tommy, my husband. And he had moved there from LA and had a songwriting deal in hand, a full staff writer's deal. And we met through his publisher and started writing songs together. And the rest is history.
Rest is his story, as they say. I am so lucky because I get to interview some really interesting people. Are you familiar with a gentleman by the name of Ted Perlman?
No, sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. He's a producer, and he's produced for people like Bob Dylan
Mm.
and Whitney Houston, and lots of others. And he's got a young duo that are out there called Sisters J, and they came on the show a couple of weeks ago, and we had a great time with them. And it's great to talk to people like you who have done it, and you've done some really good things, some really fun stuff.
Thank you. And we're independent too. We're independent artists. We've and songwriters. And Tommy and I are just so lucky that we met. We met in Nashville and started traveling the world together. And prior to COVID pandemic, prior to 2019, we were making a lot of friends and family around the world and sharing our music and our positive inspirational messages. So we've been really, really, really lucky to do this, really blessed. And so, we're just happy that we can pick up kind of where we left off now after the pandemic and hopefully get things rolling again. It's a different world, than it was before.
Oh, it is, and music is a real different place than it was before.
Yeah.
Are you planning on going on the road again?
We're starting we're doing some local concerts right now to introduce the album and some benefit fundraisers. And then we are going to Chicago in October to be a part of the FARM, which is the Folk Alliance Regional Midwest. And that's the conference where we get to showcase for folk DJs and venues. And then we're heading to Nashville, and I've been nominated for a Josie Award. And we're going to see some friends down there and hopefully do a couple rounds or two. So
that's awesome. By the way, you have a friend who's wandering around behind you.
Yes, Savannah Mae. That's our Catahoula cur, and we've got a husky somewhere here too. So sleeping.
Cool. just wandering around, looking for some action or something.
Yeah,
So it's great fun. Congratulations on your success, and I also love the fact that what decided you to take a positive approach to really work on creating positive music?
I don't think it was so much a decision as it was you just have to, for all the artists out there, you have to be really true to yourself, And when I started out, I was trying to write rock songs and, cool rock songs and pop songs and whatever. And actually had people telling me, your songs are too nice. They're too positive. You need to dirty them up a bit. And I'm like, well, and I would try, and then I would just hate the song. I'd go, oh my God, I don't want anyone to hear this. So when Tommy and when we started writing together in Nashville, when his publisher introduced us, the first song we ever wrote, or one of the first songs we ever wrote was called Outside of the Circle. And it was just that, because I stormed into my writing session one day with him. And I said, if I hear one more time that I can't say this in Nashville, that I can't write this in Nashville, I'm going to scream. And I just want to be different. I want to be outside of the circle and just saying, what I want to be saying. And Tommy says, well, I think we need to write that. So we wrote the song. And it was the title track of the first album that we ever recorded together, and was actually the first album that launched us out onto the road. And I remember we were in Savannah, Georgia playing, and we had people that had been listening to the song, and they already had actions to it that they had choreographed to it. So I knew we were onto something, and I thought this is beautiful. And we had some pretty amazing stories too. Stories of people, like we have a song called Hope is Everything. And we had played it in Colorado. And it was about 6 months later, a year later, it was just right during the recession time. And I was feeling pretty down one day. And I said to Tommy, that's it. You know what? You go do your thing today. And when you get home, I'm going to start looking for a job because I don't think this is working out. And I went in and turned on my emails, and I received an email from a man who had been at our concert in Colorado. And he said, I want to share the story with you. He said, I bought your CD. And he said, things have been going really bad for me in my life. I lost my job. I've been, drinking, hitting the bottle, falling apart. And he said, I was taking my daughter to school, my 12-year-old daughter. And he said, at that moment, I realized she needed more. She didn't deserve this. And he said, I was going to drop her off and come home and end it all. And he said, on the way to school, my daughter says, Dad, can we put in a CD? And he thought she was going to say Taylor Swift or something. And he said, sure. And she put in our CD. And he said, I dropped her off. And just as she's getting out the door and waving goodbye, and he says, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to end it, your song, Hope is Everything, clicked in and started playing. And he said, I knew at that moment, he said, it was like God had used your song to say to me, don't give up. And he said, I went home and I changed my life around, turned it around. And he says, I just have to let you know that. So, Kevin, when you say, was it a decision for us to do this? It was kind of like we had to do it. And then when we got affirmations like that, it was like, well, we can't do anything else. We just have to keep on this road.
That's a beautiful story, by the way. And the cool thing is you don't have any idea, Tia, how many lives you will change and people that you'll never meet. Right. Because of the music that you're putting together, because of the hope that you're giving, because of the love that you're sharing. And it's vital. It's in our society today, it's absolutely vital that we have something positive coming out of the radio because I truly believe that the universe sets it up so that when we, especially through music, when you need to hear a song that speaks to your soul, it will show up for you. And that's what that song did.
Absolutely. As a songwriter, I've always believed that songs are gifts to us as songwriters.
Yep.
And, our job is to be open to receive it and be the messenger for the song, and through our own voice, right? You could write a song with love that's going to be entirely different than our song with love. But they're both positive, wonderful, beautiful messages that will reach the right audience, will reach the person that's supposed to hear it at that particular time. And so we just have to keep believing that. And I know that. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we've touched people around the world that we have no idea. And so that's what keeps us going on those days that are just, kind of more challenging now, because people aren't buying music like they did, and it's harder to know how to keep going financially and everything, but we have to keep going. We have to keep our music alive.
This is every time I have a musician or a singer-songwriter on, this is a public announcement, a public service announcement that I have to make. And that is, Tia's right. The music industry has changed, and it's not like you put together a song. I mean, in the 60s and 70s, there were guys that were one-hit wonders that are still making money from the songs that they did way back then.
Absolutely.
There's one guy that did a song in the 60s that became a war anthem, and he said that song bought me my house and bought me my second house. But then those days are gone, unfortunately.
Yeah. And And so we just, we when we were recording this album with Love too, a lot of the songs were chosen. We chose them from demos we had of songs we'd written before the pandemic or in Nashville, whatever. Some were written during the pandemic. But when we looked up with Kevin again, and we recorded it basically over the internet, right? We would record it here in our studio and send it to Kevin, and he would add some beautiful bells and whistles and layers and send them back and blah, blah, blah. And, but we also wanted to take this a step further and make these film and TV pitches as well, because we're hearing so much beautiful music and that's being placed. And what a great venue there, for
Mm-hmm.
people to hear some positive, inspirational music in some of the TV shows and commercials, etc.
So I would implore you, if you are going to go to Spotify or any of the other outlets, and you're going to find Tia McGraff, and I implore you, please download the song and pay for it so that she can get paid a little bit of money. Because if you just stream it, they
Mm.
get virtually nothing. It's like point zero. Somebody told me one time it's like 0.02 cents or something like that
Yeah.
per
And
play.
and the thing, Kevin, that people, and I had an aunt one time say to me, well, we stream our TV for free. We get our TV for free. And I'm like, well, no, you kind of pay for, but anyway, it's not just that you're getting the music for free. It's not just that we've put this out there, but it's all the like, we pay musicians. It's the studio time that you're paying for, that we pay for to put it together, manufacturing, all of it, promotion. And also, when you think about it, the years and years and years and years of experience, and like moving to Nashville was expensive to do that, and in a lot of ways, a lot of sacrifices went into that move for both Tommy and me. So when you buy music or when you just download it, you are buying that artist's life, all the years and years and years of guitar lessons, vocal lessons, the struggles, the bills that we have to pay still, to keep the lights on, to keep the studio lights on. So it's just a small fraction, of say buying a coffee even, is more expensive, right? So
Yep. As a matter of fact, if you want to go to Tia McGraff, that's McGraff.com, you can find out all about her, and you can, oh, look at that. There's a buy button right there. You could buy it from her, and then she can actually make a little bit of money from that. And that would be awesome for you to do, because I firmly believe that what you have is truly a gift from the beyond.
oh,
It's
thank
a gift from
you.
the other side. And I know that for a fact, because I listened to, in the past, I've listened to a lot of songs by Sir Paul McCartney.
Mm,
And the gospel according to Paul, as I call it, is he woke up with yesterday in his head.
yeah.
And he didn't have any. He walked around for 2 weeks to asking people, "Do you know this song? Have you heard this song?" I think, and turned out that nobody had, and it was a gift that was given to him, and it was yesterday. And that song's been covered almost 3,000 times by different
Oh,
artists.
yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you a cool story. So we have a friend, Henry Priestman, who is a Liverpool lad
Ah,
and a wonderful, wonderful songwriter, musician, artist. He was in a group in England called the Christians, and they were a big, big pop group. And now Henry is doing his solo artist thing. And so he has a little cottage up on the north shore of Morvray, which is northern Wales. And so Tommy and I were up there writing with Henry, and we looked out, and there's this little island off the coast there. Actually, Kate and William lived up in Anglesey.
oh, okay, yeah.
And so we saw this little island, and we said, Hen, what is that little island out there? And he says, I call that Pop Island. And we said, why do you call it Pop Island, Hen? And he said, because that's where the Beatles have hidden all the scrolls to their to their great unwritten songs. so so that night we wrote a song called All of Us. And so we like to say we had a Canadian, an American, and a Brit, and we wrote this song called All of Us. And we brought it home, and Tommy and I recorded it. And next thing you know, it's out in the universe. And I get this call from Australia, and it was a TV producer, and he had found the song on the internet. He was looking for songs called All of Us to use in a TV commercial to promote diversity in Australia. And so we did the whole sync license, everything. And it was really bizarre. And it was just so beautiful. And then he calls back and he says, hey, this was in 2010, World Youth Day is in Sydney this year. And we're looking for a song to put up on the big Videotron when the Pope's in town and everything. Can we use your version of it? And I said, absolutely. So there you go. And that little song began, up in Mowbray and near Pop Island, so to speak.
See, you operate under the same philosophy that I do, which is right now in the podcasting world, I like the music world in many ways. There are a billion podcasts. There's at least 1 million of us out there trying to do a podcast. Now, mine is unique in that I try and really do a positive motivational show, and to have and by the way, Matthew Stapley says hello, and Matthew, you're gonna I need to book you again.
Hi, Matthew. Hey.
And
can I write something in the little chat down here? This will be fun.
Yeah, you can, I think.
Matthew, hello. There.
Let's see. Well, that's a private chat.
I'll put it on the comments.
Yeah, put it on comments. Put it on comments.
Okay.
And let me go back to that.
I can do this if I can do this, right?
I think. Did it work for you?
No. Let me see.
Well, it should. Wait a minute. Oh, he said. Matthew says, "Yes, I love that." So, I don't know. I don't know if you can do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. But we can read them. We can read them. Hi, Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew is. Do you know who he is?
Matthew. He's. Tell me.
He's a Canadian. They call him the Canadian psychic because he's up in your neck of the woods, and he is a wonderful psychic medium, and he talks to people about where they're going in their lives, and he does just a phenomenal job doing it.
Oh my gosh!
And he's been on my radio show a bunch of times. Speaking of which, I also want to invite you onto the other show that I do, which is called, surprisingly enough, Positive Talk Radio, but it's on KKNW 1150 AM in Seattle.
Would love that. Absolutely. Count me in.
And we feature your music, and we talk about your life and what you're doing and stuff like that, because you are he says, you are the type of individual that we are going to conquer the planet with.
Amen. That's right.
And Matthew's the same thing. He's a very positive individual, and he works really hard to be who he is. And you do the same thing. I'm trying to do the same thing. And the way that it works for me is I put these podcasts up, and then I say, okay, universe, it's out there. You fix it.
That's right. That's right.
Whoever needs to listen to this, I want you to make sure that they get the chance to listen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's right.
And so you do some incredible stuff, and I'm so pleased to have you here. It's just awesome. And we've got, first of all, tell me how With Love came to be. Was that did you guys write that during the pandemic and put it there? What was the intent behind the song?
We wrote this with Kevin Fisher, and Tommy and I we had flown into California. This was prior to the pandemic. And
Matthew said, at least after breakfast. He's a he's a stand-up guy after breakfast, but apparently if he's hungry, he's no good. I think that's a lot of us. So
What does he have for breakfast? Ask Matthew what he has. Let me see if we can.
yeah, he can hear you. So
Yeah.
we can talk to him. But we'll see what he said. What are you having for breakfast, young man? Or what did you have for breakfast? It's
Bacon and eggs.
I'll bet he's
Granola.
that's a good guess. That's a good guess. So,
Granola and yogurt.
well, eggs and toast.
Yay.
Very, very, very nice. So that's awesome. So I need to get a hold of him, and I will, so that he can come back on the show. And I'd love to have you on anytime you want to come on.
Oh yeah, definitely. So with Love, so Tommy and I had flown into California to write with Kevin Fisher. And Kevin Fisher, you guys you should have Kevin on your show. He's amazing, and you should look him up. He's just brilliant and a wonderful human being. And so we got together, we wrote 3 songs in like 2 days. And when we landed in California, we actually had received a call that Tommy's mom had just passed from cancer. And,
I'm sorry.
And yeah. And so at first we were making family arrangements to get to Colorado to be with the family, and canceled concerts and everything else. And Kevin was really understanding, and he said, look, if you guys want to cancel, we said, you know what, she would want us to do this. His mom was just a beautiful little lady, and I said she would want us to do this writing session. So we went in, and we had all this hanging on us, but she was such a beautiful light that it was almost like her spirit was in the room with us, guiding us. And so we wrote these songs, Go Your Own Way, With Love. And we came home, and this was one of the songs that during the pandemic, we re-listened to, revisited, so to speak. And I went, man, this is beautiful, Tommy. What a message, And sometimes we write songs, and it takes a while for them to grow into the universe, I think, for the universe to be ready to receive them. And I think these 2 songs, that Go Your Own Way and With Love, were 2 of those songs. And so we made it the title track. Tommy just said, this album's got to be called With Love, because that's what it is. So the world keeps spinning around the sun with love.
And that is the title track album cover. It's a great cover. And if you look right there, it says, this is her website again. Go to Tia McGraff, and it says, buy me right here. So do that. Go do that, because I got to tell you, I don't want you to stop what you're doing, because what you're doing is important, and it's easy to stop when it's hard, when you feel like you got to go to work and in a 9-to-5 in order to make ends meet. And that's just, it's a crime. It really is, because you guys, the talent that you bring to the table, the thoughts that you bring, are so important to our world, to humanity right now. And it always has been, but it really is important right now, that you can't stop. I'm not going to let you stop.
Well, thank you. And artists, art is so important. I mean, it's, in all forms is so important. And I've always believed that we should be championing artists to, not be the starving artist thing, but just, more like, how can we support our local artists? How can we get them, because art just inspires, it helps us grow. It helps children in school, become better human beings and find themselves. In my book, Jake the Road Dog, my message is find the song in your heart. And that's what it's about for me. It's helping people find the song in their heart and tell their story, because I believe that every child, every adult has a story, their own story to tell, their own song to sing.
Oh yeah. And so you are, let me get this straight now. You are a singer-songwriter, you are a musician, you are an author, you're also a podcaster. Is that right?
Yes, well, during the pandemic, so Tommy said we're one of the 5 million podcasters out there. Tommy had been saying we need to start a podcast show, and I'm like, well, what's a podcast show? So anyway, I said, well, I would like to do something that is positive and PAWS, positive, and we'll tie in our passion for songwriting and our songs on the road and our stories on the road and rescue dogs, rescue animals. So we call it Songs and Tales, TAILS, Jake's Place Songs and Tales. And so when we have time, we jump into the studio and do another episode, and we're really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? All the people you get to meet. And
I got to tell you, I've had the time of my life for the last 20 years. I've got to meet some really phenomenal individuals, and I've had the opportunity to be able to touch a lot of people's lives. It really is. To me, it's almost sacred what we're doing.
Takes one to know one, Kevin.
Because let me tell you a quick story. And I've told this before, so if you've heard this story before, just hang with me. But I want to tell to you. I did when I started in 2003. I did Positive Talk Radio on KKNW in Seattle, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, and so 10 hours a week of broadcasting. I did it for 11 months because it was expensive. I had to buy the time and stuff. So I did it for 11 months, and then I ran out of money and couldn't do it anymore because the studio said, and you probably had this conversation with somebody at one time, you owe us $10,000. And I said, well, that's too bad because I don't have $10,000. He said, okay, well, you're going to have to go off the air. And so that day, and I said, can I have one more show? And he said, yes, I'll give you one more show. And which I thought was darn magnanimous. I thought that was great of him. And so go on the air, and half hour in, I tell everybody I've got a major announcement to make, and nobody was expecting the fact that I was going to have to terminate the show. And when I announced the show was going off the air, the phone lines filled up, and people started calling in and saying things like, I can't believe you're going off the air. I've got a pile of books here that I bought because of your show. And I've met these people. And another gal said that Jerry Armour, who is a biochemist, has helped me in my health tremendously. We're going to miss you. But the one that affected me the most was a gal called up from Bainbridge Island, which is just on the other, a little bit west of me. And she said, I just wanted to tell you that we listen to your show every day. And I said, well, thank you. That's really touching. She said, no, you don't understand. I'm an Alzheimer's caregiver, and you're one of the last people that can reach her.
Oh.
And so we talk.
Oh.
We watch your show, or we listen to your show every day, because apparently I've got this rather unique laugh. And she said, every time you laugh, she goes, there he goes again.
Oh, beautiful.
And thank you.
Savannah. Yep. Savannah Grace.
And that taught me that the impact that we have as human beings to another human being can be like it was, like for you through your music, for me through the radio and through podcasts. Or if you are, I was also a bus driver for 12 years. If you're a bus driver for 12 years and you're smiling and you're saying hello to people in a positive way, we all have a positive impact that we can make.
That's exactly right. Exactly. Everything we're doing, it doesn't matter if you're just going into the grocery store. If you're a shopper in a grocery store, if you can make someone's day positive, or you can totally ruin their day, or try to attempt to ruin it, so yeah, we got to think about these things, don't we?
We really do, and it's really cool. And I use the example of a grocery store teller all the time, because they're on their feet all day, and they may go through hours of having nobody smile at them.
Yeah.
during the course of their day, and they're still there every day. And if you can make somebody smile, if you can say something nice to somebody, you can turn around their day. And there's an energetic thing that goes along with that.
Yeah, that's right. During the pandemic, we live in this little town. It's on the bay on Lake Erie. And we have one of everything. We have one grocery store, one post office, one pharmacy, one thrift store, and so we would go down to our little grocery store and get our groceries, and they took such good care of us, and the tellers there were so amazing, the cashiers, and I I thanked them. I said, "You guys were our heroes. Like here we are, at one point, I don't know if it was like that in Seattle, but at one point we were not allowed to leave the house unless it was to go just for groceries, necessities.
Yep.
And so we would walk down the street to the grocery store, and everyone's hiding behind the masks and everything. You can't smile, but everyone was so friendly. And that year, the grocery store owners actually gave us a gift, a Christmas present,
Oh, isn't that cool?
and thanked us we went in to get some groceries, and they said, "Here, we've got something for you." And they went back, and I mean, it had our names on it and everything. It wasn't just we're going to give the first 50 shoppers. So it was, "Tia and Tommy, thank you for your patronage this year." And I was like, "Well, you guys should be the ones getting gifts because you're the ones who kept us all going, and kept food going when the food shortages were happening and trucks couldn't get in, and you know, so it doesn't matter what you do. It's a gift, and it's a calling, and you can make someone's life just so much better by the joy and the enthusiasm you put into what you're doing at the moment."
I like you. You're a nice person. I gotta tell you. Tia McGraff is my guest today, and she's a phenomenal spirit. She's got great energy. She puts out great music, and we're going to play another song. So stay with us right now because we're going to play this song. But first, I want to find out how Nighthawk came to be, and it's also an award winner.
Right. So the version that you're about to play is called Nighthawk Revised. And we wrote this song. It was based on a true story. One day, again, I was questioning, what's it all about, Alfie? And was kind of tired and looking for my voice, searching for my voice, where, the next direction. And went outside, and I found this wounded nighthawk. It was in the morning too, like around 9:00 in the morning, which was really bizarre because they're night birds, right? Nocturnal.
Right.
But she had been hit by a car, I guess, and so she was on the edge of our lawn. And I went and got a box and put her in the box, and she was still alive, and and I didn't really know what she was. I took a picture of her and put it up on Facebook, and so we live near Bird Studies Canada, so it's a beautiful area with a lot of birds and a lot of people that know a lot about birds. And so someone said, "Tia, that's a nighthawk," and so call such and such. So I called the vet that they suggested, and she said, "Well, bring her in, and I'll see if I can do something with her. And if her sternum's broken, then there's nothing we can do." So I took the bird in and left her overnight, and this whole healing process started by this connection with this bird. And by the time the vet called me a day later and said, "I took her to my farm and I set her free, and she's survived. She's gone. She's free. She's flying," I literally wept, And so we wrote the song Nighthawk and recorded it and put it on this album. And we made it very big. If we have any Outlander fans watching, we wanted to make it a big, like, Scottish Outlander film track, Bear McCready track.
It's a beautiful song, I got to tell you.
Thank you. It means a lot to me, this song. It's
And what award did it win?
So we just won in September the 2022 Song of the Year in the Peace category at the Empower Music Awards in Kansas.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That
Thank you.
is just awesome. So with that, because we're going to run out of time here, but with that, I want to play this song because it is really a special song. So stay with us, everybody. This is called Nighthawk.
I'm looking up from a hard place, mercy on my soul. Feels like I'm caught in a wire cage. The twilight falls through my window, a shadow comforts me. A nighthawk diving, soaring, she's so free. Just yesterday I found you, wounded on the ground. Your feathers couldn't lift you. I heard you open your throat and felt an eerie tune. It broke my heart 'cause I felt just like you. Feel their pain. God watches over small things. Mercy lifted you. I know you found your wings, and I will too.
That is Tia McGrath. That is just beautiful.
Thank you, Kevin.
I mean, that is epic. That's one
Thank
of those,
you.
and that was your intention, wasn't it? To make it.
Yeah. But thanks to Kevin Fisher and Tommy who did the production on it and just brought the whole vision to reality, with the instrumentation.
It takes a team.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you guys are just awful. I would love to have you and Tommy on together too.
Oh, we would love that. Well, I'll get Tommy to put his hat on and get.
And because you guys have got obviously you've got a lot of talent, and I would love for you to be wildly successful.
Well, we're it's interesting, isn't it? Because as you say that, I have right in front of me on the fridge, I printed this out. Success is truly in the gift of grace and inspiring and changing a life.
Couldn't agree with you more.
So it kind of ties in with what we were talking about, doesn't it? Success would be, yes, lovely to have fame. And, I've always envisioned having a song in a big, Oscar winning award movie. And all the trappings that go along with that. But at this stage, after what we've gone through in this world and seeing what, potentially what's going on now with pipelines that are oil pipelines being, everything going on.
Yep.
I think what you and I have just hit on today, if we've touched one person today, if one person has listened to this and they are feeling better because of our show, then that's successful.
I couldn't agree more. My job is to provide the best content I can, which is why you're here, because you are really, really good. But then it's to allow other people to let it blossom as it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
I firmly believe that I put it out, and the other side, they're responsible for it.
Mm-hmm.
So from this point on, but it's good. But it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on a podcast. We're going to do everything that we can to promote your work. And by the way, Tia McGraff is her name, and you can go to tiamcgraff.com and buy the album With Love that just came out. And it's that does have it does have a Nighthawk on it.
That's right, With Love and Nighthawk, and our song "Go Your Own Way" is on there, and that's a lot of fun. And so it's good. And when you go to our website, you'll also see you can buy my children's book, Jake the Road Dog. It's got 3 songs in it: Crazy Beautiful, 2 Wolves, which is based on the Cherokee legend. And we've got all kinds of stuff on there, and you can listen to our podcast show, Jake's Play Songs and Tales, as well.
Very cool. I would love to be on your podcast, but I don't play anything. So all I do is talk to people.
We'll talk about positive inspiration.
I would
absolutely.
Would love to do that.
Yeah.
Would love to do that.
Yeah.
And I got to run, but I want to make sure that I give you a minute to tell our audience that's listening now, or those that will be listening later, anything that you would like them to know.
I just want to say, everyone out there listening, we've got some weather events going on right now with hurricanes all over the place. We've got the war in the Ukraine still going. Let's all just join together in a moment of thought. And if we put out a positive thought together, collective thought at this particular moment of healing and peace and protection, let's just put that out into the universe, and everyone just take care of yourselves and take care of those around you and keep those thoughts going into the universe.
And like I always end every show with, be kind to one another, because each other's all we got.
Amen.
And if you'll be so kind, by the way, I just want to thank you. I'm not done with you. We're going to have to do more if you're okay with you.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it.
I love this. I love this, Kevin. This is great.
So stay right there, and I will be right back. By the way, again, go to tiamcgraff.com and buy her book, buy the record, look at all of her stuff. It's beautiful. It really is.
And thank you, Matthew Stapley, for chiming in today. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Nice to meet you.
He's an awesome friend of the show, and it's great. The Canadian Psychic is who that is. So,
Yay.
So hold on. I'll be right back. Hey, thanks for enjoying this episode all the way to the end. Please give us a like and subscribe to this channel. This has been a production of PositiveTalkRadio.net. Please visit our website, oddly named PositiveTalkRadio.net, for more details about us and our mission, which is to provide great positive programming designed to inspire us all. I'm Kevin McDonald, and I'm proud of these shows, and I truly hope that you'll like them and share them with friends and family. So on behalf of our entire team, remember, be kind to one another, because each other's all we got.